Okay, this is one of the first times I've actually used my laptop to make videos on YouTube, and as ridiculous as it sounds, I figured it would save time if I just, recorded on YouTube and just had it, go from there instead of doing it on the computer and then uploading it to YouTube. Fortunately, I didn't know that it would take forever for some reason I can't understand. Um, for it to not even upload it, but go to the preview stage. It's been 10 minutes now. It's at 2%, and it would probably be better if I'm willing to just redo the first 10 minutes, but no, I already did that. I'm not doing it again. I'll just leave this stupid thing on all night, turn off the sleep mode and just have it take care of this. In the meantime, I'll just do more of this offline and just upload videos because I do know from uploading in the past that it doesn't take nearly that long. So anyway, by the way, I can tell I look incredibly tired. I'm actually feeling very wired, so don't worry about that. And I'll go into my health background in other videos not related to this. Anyway, where I was going with China was because people were so afraid of what had occurred in Tiananmen. When these protests started, in China, these walks were created. And with these walks, because people, again, were obviously, I don't blame them, they were afraid to just come out and, um, protest. And it makes sense. Anyway, they created something called the Jasmine Revolution. Now, what that was basically, and it has unfortunately petered out. Maybe there'll be a 2.0, a second one. Hopefully, I'm hopeful. Anyway, what happened was, throughout February, there was postings on the internet, usually through Twitter, where people were saying, "Let's go for a walk," and they would go throughout different cities. This Wikipedia article, has a little over 10, like 14 or so different cities where in different locations. For example, in Beijing, at the one of the McDonald's at a location called Wangfujing, people literally just walked around, and just their presence when they made a Twitter post, it was a way of silently protesting. They couldn't get arrested or beaten down because they weren't breaking the law. They weren't doing anything, but their presence made it known we know what's going on in the Middle East and we want to change for ourselves. And the losers in the ruling, Communist Party, really were panicking. They used thousands of, security personnel across the country to just, to always outnumber, just be there to be intimidating. So people were nervous. So basically, every time there was a walk, ton of these dudes would show up, and that petered out, unfortunately. And of course, as usual, the commies started, making their grip that they already have on the internet even stronger, which is just pathetic because they had a alarmingly large amount of a growing grip on it for a long time. In the future, I'll talk about the Great Firewall of China. It's pretty much what it sounds like. Anyway, so pretty much that petered out. But I do want to point out a few of their rally cries showed these people were serious. One of their rallying cries was, "We want food, we want work, we want housing." Pretty much what you heard about in the Middle East, North Africa. We want fairness, we want justice, a more broader thing for a better society. Guaranteed property rights, protect judicial independence. Now, China did switch to a free market because, well, the communist economic system was failing and they wanted to survive. But see, this brings new ideas like, more property rights and freedoms. Initial change in political reform, end one-party dictatorship, or terminate one-party rule. Pretty bold in that country. Lift restrictions, free the press, and then long live freedom, long live democracy. Wow. Another rally cry. We invite every participant to stroll, watch, or even just pretend to pass by. As long as you are present, the authoritarian government will be shaking with fear. Oh boy, was that true. These people were shaking their boots, afraid. Of what? What? A bunch of people walking around it's got a strong military, and they have a firm grip on the country, physically, kind of cyberishly, but they're wimps. They're weaklings. They're afraid of people walking around. They're that afraid they'll grow into something bigger. So clearly they don't have control over the people's minds, which is the most important thing if you want to have a totalitarian society. So all I have to say to that is fail on their part. Anyway, before I go back into the broader topic, one more thing I want to point out about the whole China situation. Here's the Wikipedia article summary of it. There were calls made via social networks such as Twitter to begin a Jasmine revolution in China. Chinese authorities arrested activists, increased the normal police presence, disabled some cell phone text messaging services, and deleted internet postings about protests planned for 14-hour on the 20th of February in Beijing, Shanghai, and 11 other cities. On the day of the protests, the police turned out en masse to all of the potential protest locations in various cities around the country. Small crowds, including a large number of foreign journalists, gathered at the planned site in Beijing and Shanghai, but did not chant slogans or hold signs. I don't blame them. CPC General Secretary and President Hu Jintao responded by calling top leaders into a study session to root out and tackle social issues before they became threats to civility. Basically, they were having classrooms where they were telling them, hey, how do you destroy these peaceful gatherings? In a speech at the Central Party School, Hu called out for tighter restrictions to the internet. Chinese Premier Wen Jiabao promised to curb inflation and punish corruption in what was seen as an attempt to curb protest. So there were some mediocre, small, token concessions. Look, it was just from walking around, He also promised to boost food supplies and to control surging property prices. A heavy police presence was also reported in planned protest cities of Beijing and Shanghai. He said that fighting inflation was an important economic priority in order to curb social protests. This is big right here. During an interview given to Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic, Hillary Clinton responded to Goldberg's comment, Chinese government seems scared of the Arab uprising. Well, they are. They're worried, and they are trying to stop history, which is a fool's errand. They cannot do it, but they're going to hold it off as long as possible. So basically, although you may have already forgotten about this, if you just hear day-by-day news, this is something that foreign journalists got involved with. I'm from the United States. Our government made, our Secretary of State made a important, comment about this. That's pretty big. What's interesting, actually, is the word Egypt was banned from anything inside the Chinese firewall. If you tried to look up Egypt, you couldn't find anything. It wouldn't come up with anything. Also, Tiananmen was. And actually, the name Hillary Clinton, which is silly, outrageous, because she made those comments. That's how worried the leaders there were. Let's see. One more thing I want to say about this particular country involving these protests in a minute. I just wanted to look up something. It's about we have a politician in this country who can't find his name. That's just great. Anyway, whatever. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know who he is. And if you don't, it's not that important. Basically, this dude who may be running for president in this country in 2012, and he's had a lot of experience in foreign countries, particularly China. But to boost that, what he did was he was actually there, and he actually got arrested. Maybe wrong place, wrong time. Maybe he knew what he was in for. But they actually went as far as doing that, arresting a foreign politician. Anyway, what was interesting was actually with North Korea, the South Korean military actually flew over and dropped leaflets talking about what's going on in the Middle East and North Africa. And the North Koreans were pretty PO'd. And that's a pretty significant event because you don't see that happening, really. South Korea always has a policy where they're really trying to have a peaceful coexistence. So obviously this is a very big event. I found Vietnam very significant too, because there were rare protests. It doesn't really happen. There's a big underground internet movement in Vietnam. It's pretty big. Nothing really in Spotlight usually though, but this encouraged people enough. There was actually an alleged case of self-immolation. In English, that means someone dosed himself with gasoline or lit himself on fire. It's a very bold move. In the capital city of Ho Chi Minh City and Da Nang, which is very interesting. Um, I'm not laughing at that person's expense. I'm laughing at the fact that you know such a significant event occurred, but people are still trying to change this narrative. So it sounds like, oh, it's happened in one region. It's been happening all over the place. With that, I'm cutting part 2 off for now.